Hasta luego. I don't know what that means. There's hasta la vista. Everybody knows that's goodbye from the Terminator movies. There's hasta mañana, which means until tomorrow. So hasta luego. Well, I don't know what that means. Anyways, I thought I would attempt to keep you company for a while, if you would allow me to. Uh, I think that what I'm hearing is the fan in my computer. This computer is not a new computer. So I think that maybe the problem that I'm having with the microphone is actually a problem with the computer and the microphone is picking it up. But I'm not sure. The sound could always be in my head or in my ears, you know, be some kind of strange tintabulation. Uh, I don't know. All I know is I hear it. Cindy said, no, I don't hear anything. That's the only person that answered when I asked, do you hear anything weird? So, but anyways, yesterday I tried cutting a 5 milligram pill in half. So I took 7.5 milligrams of diazepam yesterday, and I actually had a pretty good night's sleep. I had a little trouble going to sleep. Um, my pills are on hold, some of them. Like my melatonin is on hold because the one aid worker did not go and pick them up. So I think after they're in the drugstore for a while, they put them on hold. And then you call the drugstore and say, hey, take my pill off of hold. Or they contact the prescriber, who is no longer my psychiatric caregiver, and ask, like, what's up? I don't know. All I know is I wrote it on a list for the big girl to do, and she didn't do it. They did give me the Fran person back, the one that I think ripped me off at the laundromat, but I did not feel confrontational, and I don't really care about the $5 or whatever she ripped me off for. So I just told her this time, like, how much did stuff cost? And she said, well, here's your change. And then she laid the receipts out and everything, and it all added up. So, and I counted out the pills, and it turns out that it was just a coincidence that the pill bottle ripped like that. So what happened was, it's like maybe there was a little bit of rain out there or something, and the bags got a little moist. So when she like put it wherever, it folded the bag, the thin paper bag that the pill bottles come in. It folded it over in such a way that the cap tore the bag like that. It was just very what would you call it? Strange and suspicious looking. I'm trying not to get this part of me. You know how people say, "Oh, your face is shiny" or whatever. Like this part right here is shiny because that's an affected area from the CRPS. And nobody wants to see my hairy, weird belly anyway. So, I'm going to try that and see how that goes. You know, I'm just going to keep playing it by ear like I've been doing it. Like I had that one dude that said that, I'm just using this as an excuse to be on the computer, like I need an excuse to talk. And that he was like, you should be off of this stuff by now. I'm tired of seeing you on here. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I don't care. Anyways, I generally don't care what, people say as far as like criticizing me because they don't have CRPS, and they don't have arrhythmia and they don't have my issues. So it's kind of like talking out of their ass. So I don't care. And it doesn't mean I get irritated over other things. I don't get irritated over stuff like that. Like that didn't bother me. The one guy named Jamie bothered me because He wasn't even trying to quit benzos. He just happened to be on benzos, stumbled on my videos because he was thinking about quitting benzos. Then started giving me advice on how to quit benzos and giving me advice in general, like I was a little kid, because he was an alcoholic and quit drinking by getting put on benzodiazepines and learned some things in AA or something like that. Anyways, I got irritated with that guy because I kind of like was nice to him, and we went back and forth and had like a little bit of an online thing going. This is just this other guy's just like random comments where I'm not like putting myself out there in any way. I could give a fuck about it. Don't mean nothing to me. People always say don't read the comments, and it's like whenever obviously I don't just talk on here, but I write on here like I was doing this morning. When people say stuff, I mean, insults are just funny to me. They don't really matter. If you insult me, I don't care. But if I get like put myself out there emotionally, and then you're like, "Oh, you're my buddy, you're my friend," and then you like turn on me, uh, like it's weird. I don't get that. You know, I don't understand that. So that bothers me. But random comments calling me an idiot, I don't care about, or saying that I'm, you know, milking my maladies for airtime. Like, you know, to get people to listen to me. It's like, you need to check the views on my videos. Like, nobody really wants to see a guy, like, you know, laying in bed shirtless in a poorly lit, dingy room, rambling on for hours. So it's like I'm not trying. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like, if I get 30 views, I'm surprised. So, you know, I mean, I don't know what my average views are, but I don't care about that either. You know, I understand that people do this and they try to make money or they want attention. I'll put a video up here about somebody that wanted attention, and boy, they're good. They got me to, at first I wrote them something serious, and then I read some of the other comments, and I was like, you know what, you're right, I'm being stupid, because this girl made this video, and she's gorgeous, and was popular in high school. I think she said she was like homecoming queen, and the video is called I I'm 21 years old and I have no friends. And, so I was like suckered by it. And I was like, well, I was giving her advice about things. And, like, it's like sometimes you have to try harder with people. You have to be the person to reach out. And I took it all serious and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't do no background check or nothing like that because, as we've established, I'm kind of a gullible dude. But anyway, she was on the internet for like years, and she just stumbled across this thing where she was emoting a little bit about her life, and I fell for it like hook, line, and sinker. Then it became like a viral thing and made her famous, and she had like 3 million views. But I'll put that down there. It's a little short video, and I'm like, let's see, you're young, you're beautiful, you're healthy, um, you have like a normal life. You just seem to have trouble with your relationships. Go to a fucking psychiatrist. Shut the fuck up. You know. But really, that's why I clicked on the video in the first place. This is a pretty good looking girl. I mean, okay, people like good looking people. That's why you don't see a lot of ugly people on American TV. Is because people like to look at good looking people. So obviously, I am not on here trying to get a lot of views, or I would buy myself a sweet hat, make sure I was clean shaven every day, every time, and wear a nice shirt, and you know, worry about presentation and um, production values. I did make that board over there, but it's just too much trouble. I have to slide the mattress out, slide the board back there, get it centered right, and sometimes I just like to be spontaneous and talk. And I was writing on the internet anyway because I found this video that has Terry Crews talking to Mike Tyson about their violent dads. Obviously, that's something I can relate to. So I'm writing on there, you know, and the one guy is like, dude, that was like a movie. He's like, and yeah, and this other guy was like trolling me and saying I could beat up you and your dad, and I'm like, well, I hope so. My dad was 70 at the time of the story, and I was 30. You could probably beat me up. I hope you could beat up a 70-year-old man. I mean, and then I wrote like this big long thing, and then like this other guy chimed in, and he was like, "Damn, you have an interesting life." And I'm really just talking about other people. My life is boring as shit. And that's like, no, like I told the other guy, he's like, told the troll guy, he's like, "Yeah, you're just trying to get me to write more because I'm such a good writer." So I wrote out a couple of the stories that I've told on here, like in short form, like how I tricked my dad into either threatening or beating out my uncle because I was like, damn it, I am not getting whipped at away games and home games. It's like, you're not going to whip me at. My uncle's whipping me, my dad's whipping me. Who the fuck's going to whip me next? I'm like, fuck that. So I pitted my dad against my uncle. My dad, of course, scarier than my uncle. And so my uncle never touched me again. And I sat back and said, and I did it all in short form. And I talked about like, well, my dad almost ran them people over in the street and got stopped by the cops. But he wasn't breaking any laws. But kids, like, and I don't know, younger people do this thing where they stand in the street, and they'll stop traffic sometimes or make people slow down to exert their power or whatever. My dad, of course, just revs the engine and either goes a little bit faster or just gives them a warning and says, "I'm driving here, fuck you." So a cop stops him and says, "Sir, you almost hit those people back there." And he said, "Well, they shouldn't be standing in the street." And he goes, "Yeah, but you could have killed them." And my dad said, "Well, then I'd be in jail, but they'd be dead." So, you know, the cop was threatening him with jail, actually. I told that terribly. But, anyways. And he was like, "Yeah, I'd be in jail, but they'd be dead." And then the cop didn't have nothing to say about that. But, anyways, I was just writing out some of stories that I tell on here, which people find interesting. I'm like, yeah, people used to say my dad was a character, and he was kind of cinematic in the things that he did. Uh, he was definitely a character. Um, uh, I'll say that about him. He wasn't boring. Um, I could have done with a little bit more boredom when I was growing up and a little bit of stability, but what are you gonna do? But anyways, that's how I spent my morning. I made it, I want to skip that nighttime pill because I'm sleepy. I got a good sleeping schedule going on. I tend to get sleepy at a normal hour when people get sleepy. But I'm kind of afraid to skip the nighttime pill because when I used to do that, I used to wake up. So I broke out a pill cutter and I'm going to start cutting pills in half if I feel like that. If I feel like I need, I'm just going to do it by feel. It seems to have worked out better that way. Where I'm just like, okay, I feel edgy. I should take a pill. Rather than keeping track and writing down and all that shit. I asked my psychiatric nurse on the 7th, the day that will live in infamy, the Pearl Harbor Day. And he said that's a light dose, 15 milligrams of volume a day. It's considered a light dose. So take what you will from that. Um, as far as what I think has made a difference is just like isolation. Right now, I just turned the air conditioner off. I don't get complete isolation, but I just turned the air conditioner off but I had the air conditioner on to block out little Stampy. And I was like, well, you know, I'll turn it off and see if I can still hear him, and start the video. And it's like, fire it up again. Because when I woke up in the morning, about 8 o'clock, um, little Stampy was doing her thing. And then you hear like he's like a snare drum, and then Big Stampy is like the kick drum or the bass drum. So, you know, it's not good. I was like, my nerves were okay this morning though, but I don't like it. I like to wake up without stomping noises. Call me a weirdo. Um, my stomach is still like whatever. I don't even care no more. Like it's like I'm having a America Russian Cold War going on there with my stomach. So I don't know, man. I take these pills, drink a lot of water, and just let it do what it do. These pills. So it says you're supposed to take one a day, but yeah, my belly is mostly unhappy. My knees very unhappy, and this damn mic better be working at least. You know, it can buzz, but I didn't really test it out as far as it's lit up and everything. But I've done that a couple of times where I've done videos where it's just me doing this. Which, if you think this doesn't get a lot of views, that gets even less views. You know, when the sound is gone. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, man, streamlining my life and just like kicking people out of my life has actually been useful to me. Um, the person that owes me a lot of money tried to get a hold of me a couple of times, and I called them back, and they said that they would the next day. They said that they were gonna stop by after work, drop off some money. They never did. I never called them. I was ready that day. I was ready the next day, and the next day I was not caring one way or another. It's been a while now. I haven't heard from them, so they live too damn far away. That's why they should send me the money electronically. But some people you can't talk to because everything's a thing. And it's like I'm talking to them, and I'm like, you know, I don't have much to talk about, so I'm talking about this show I like called Rectify. And I said, told them a part of it that I thought was funny, and they were like, well, that's funny. And I said, it's not really a comedy, though. And they were like, you don't know what I think is funny. What the fuck? Everything's got to be a confrontation. I'm like, I mean, the show is not labeled as a comedy. You know, people are like that, trying to have a serious conversation with them about touchy subjects like money. It doesn't work out too well. So, you know, that's another thing is like, I didn't like, I don't throw extra stress in my way, you know. Um, and like I said, man, I just kicked some people out of my life. If I would have done that shit like 30 years ago, I'd probably have a whole different life, maybe a mouthful of teeth, a whole lot more sanity. Maybe I'd be in decent shape, but, you know, people give you this thing, and this is definitely a holiday sentiment altogether, where like family is everything. What do you have if you don't have family? Family, family, family. All you hear your whole damn life is family. So what do? I'm gullible, like I said, so I believe that shit, and so you know I stick with my family, hang around my family, and look where it's gotten me. And since I've kicked some of that family to the curb, it's like, oh, I'm doing much better. Now I had like a cousin named Sheri that her family didn't seem like it was that difficult. You know, she didn't have like people killing people and shit inside the family. She didn't have hardly any interesting stories at all. And she just split. Like, she got of age, she went off to college, and she was just like done. She never come back to Ohio. That's what I should have done. I should have done. Her other sister, whose name I will not mention, uh, stayed in Ohio and married a piece of shit crackhead. So, you know, they would say all the time that he had a drug problem with cocaine, but he's a crackhead. So, you know, but she was really nice. I liked her, and I probably shouldn't go into that, but um, let's see. They were my cousins. This is very hillbilly, but they were my cousins, and I was like 11, 12 in there, and they were like 17, 18. You know where this is going. But they used to like wrestle with me and stuff like that, and I kind of enjoyed that as a blossoming adolescent. So, you know, it is what it is. They were both very good looking. So, um, anyways, the one, if I hopefully I didn't mention her name, I may have, I don't know, but she was always very nice. So it was a real shame that she married a scumbag. But she was like a little too meek and timid. I don't want to use words like doormat or anything like that, but yeah, she wasn't the adventurous one. Sheri was the adventurous one. And I remember this, and I'll remember this until the day I die, is like, I loved books when I was a little kid. I loved dinosaurs. And my cousin had a dinosaur book. And he wrote this weird sentence in it about his older sister. That was, you know, I can still see it. It was in the front of this book, you know, like around the title page. It says, "Sheri is very mature that her feet stink." It's one of the funniest sentences I ever heard, but he didn't understand what the word mature meant. Sheri is very mature that her feet stink. Matter of fact, that will be the title to this video. That always cracked me up every time I looked at that book. You know, books were like God to me when I was growing up. It's like, because TV sucked, and the trip to the library was a trip to Mecca. You know, it was like a religious experience, and yeah, I always remember going to the library. I remember going to the library once and swallowing my change for the bus, and having to go back and get more change and run. You know, because the bus stop in the suburbs is pretty far away. But my sister, older sister, was taking me to the library, and I had my change for the bus, and I put it in my mouth, and it was, I don't know what it didn't cost much to ride the bus. So let's say it was 25 cents just for the hell of it. I don't know what it cost. Probably cost 50 cents. I don't know. But so anyway, say it's 2 dimes and a nickel. I'm holding it in my mouth, you know, because I'm a dumb kid, and I swallow my bus fare, and I'm like, I gotta go home. And my sister's like, why do you gotta go home? And I'm like, I ate my bus money, and the dog ate my homework. So I run home and I go back, and I remember that was my first time on a bus, like a city bus, and we rode to the library, and you know, I got to get books. I got one book on witches that day. I remember that was interesting, and I can still kind of remember it. But yeah, love the library. That's why I don't read anymore. I think it's because I read so much when I was younger. I read like all the damn time, reading ever since I remember. And my mom read books to me. Like I said, my mom did two things, one of which was bad. She read books to me when I was a kid, turned me on to books, which was good. But she sang to me, which was bad because she could not hit tune with auto tune. I don't know what auto tune is. They talk about it nowadays. But if being on key was the ocean and her voice was a rock, she would miss. She was a terrible singer. So um, I would sit in church and she would sing, and I would just kind of look up at her, and then I would look around to see if anybody else noticed. You know, we didn't have a lot of music in the house, so that's why my ears got ruined. And I'm not really good at recognizing. I'm not a good singer, and I'm not good at recognizing. I can recognize when things are wrong, but there's a difference between that and being able to find things that are right. Like if I was to start singing right now, what you don't want me to do, um, I could hear that I was singing fucked up, but I wouldn't be able to figure out how to sing not fucked up. Like let's try something. Uh, oh, you gotta walk that lonesome valley. See, you gotta walk. So I could see I hit a bad note in there. It's basically not a hard song to sing, but I could hear when I hit the bad note. But I wouldn't know. Let's see if I can do it right. Oh, you gotta walk that lonesome valley. A little better. It's like finding. It's very important. It's like finding proper pitch when you're playing the guitar. And being able to do that and recognizing tones makes playing guitar a lot easier. I don't have a good metaphor for you on that, but hmm, it's like people people that are real good musicians, they always have good ears because it makes it easy. You know, for me, playing guitar is like a 5'10" guy trying to make it in the NBA. It can happen, but yeah, it takes a lot more work than if the guy is 6'8". Uh, so that's why, like, I realized early on, like, oh, damn it, I really want to do this, but music is really not my thing. So I realized pretty early on that, my time would be better spent doing something else. Even though I like playing, I used to like playing guitar anyway. Yeah. But yeah, things considered continue to be boring around here. Um, Something funny did happen yesterday. It's like it's not like I'm pounding the pickle night and day, but I seem to have bad luck these days being caught doing that because usually they knock on the door and they drop off my Global Meals shipment, and that's that. But occasionally they'll get these drivers that they're neurotic or got OCD or something like that. But they're scared to death of like just leaving your food there, you know, just leaving it out there. Somebody's gonna steal your food. So I got this one, and I'm in here doing what I'm doing, and they're about an hour and 15 minutes early for when they usually come. They usually come around noon. This is 10:48 on the dot. Bam, bam, bam. Police knock. I'm like, oh, that's probably like my package from Walmart arriving. And then bam, 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 louder. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck who that is. I ain't getting up and answering the door. And then bam, bam, bam. Serious cop knocks. And, they leave. And then I realize, oh, that's probably my food shipment. It's Friday. Fuck. So I get dressed, I get up, I look outside, there's no food out there. I check my phone has a number on there. I call it, ring about 10 times, hang up. Uh, I'm like, shit. And I get up, get out of bed, and I notice I got two packages on the porch. I come back in here. I notice that they called me back, but my phone, the ringer was off on my phone. And I'm like, shit. And I call him back, and I'm like, hello, I think he was knocking on my door a minute ago. And they said something garbled that I didn't hear. And I'm like, well, you can just leave it outside. And they came back, and again, bang, bang, bang on the door, and I yelled to the door, like, thank you. And they were like, what? Real loud. And I'm like, thanks. I think they were just hard of hearing, whoever was, maybe they didn't realize they were like stormtroopering the door. Does that make sense? Stormtroopers are from Star Wars, but I think stormtroopers had something to do with the SS and the Nazis too. But anyways, it freaked everybody out in the building, and like uh, I guess the guy in the wheelchair over here, he pops out after she left, and the lady from upstairs, Stampy, come down, and I heard him in the hallway, and I heard, yeah, that woman about knocked the goddamn door down. What did she say exactly? Oh, she said, yeah, she would have broke the door down if she could. That's what she said exactly. And yeah, I'm like, okay. I noticed that they left my packages on the porch, so I had to go out and lift these heavy packages and I bring in the food and then go out on the porch. So I was thinking like maybe that's why the global food workers worker um, like was like that, is because he's like, well, there's packages on the porch here that have his name on it. Like maybe he's not home, but they just delivered those like a half an hour before she arrived. They just threw them on the porch and didn't knock on anything. So yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, you think somebody as solitary as I am would not uh, be busted squeezing the tadpole like repeatedly, but it's not like I get to do that every day. So you know, it's like it's kind of bumming me out. It's like it's gonna start making me gun shy after a while here, man. You know, um, because it's like, oh, that time is like that's my food for the week. So it's like, you know, well, I had some leftover food in the refrigerator. I was thinking about it, scared too. Of course, I'm always scared to talk to that person. But I was thinking about like getting my food card off of that person and just like, cause I bought like coffee. It cost like $8.99 or something. Just like grounds, and that I think is a food item, or considered a food item, where you can buy it with an EBT card. And then I buy chips, and I buy like, you know, I could buy these little piddling things that I buy. Sometimes I'll buy like cheddar cheese slices and stuff like that, like little tiny food items. But at the time, I figured it wouldn't matter because, that person would be paying me back the $1,005 that was already spent on the card. So what difference does it make if I spend like $8, $10 on food type items? You know, if I got like 178 to $200, it's been fluctuating here. It's at over $200 now a month coming in on that food card. So what difference does it make? But anyways, we'll see when they make it over here how much they pay me back. They'll make it over here eventually, I'm assuming. Um, how much they pay me back, or what kind of mood they're in, or that's the thing, is like they can be in a good mood and like turn on a fucking dime. It's like, I'm just trying to keep my stress level low so I can keep my benzodiazepine intake low. You know, I don't need emotional conflict and hassles. I wonder how many pills I would have had left over if I didn't spend a lot of that month over that bullshit with my brother. I might have had a lot, even more than 34 pills left out of 90 pills. Because a couple of them days I was stressed out over that nonsense with my brother, and I'm like, this is going to be a thing now. And then, my aunt died. It didn't stress me out all that much, but, it was an expected type of thing. There were some things that happened. So what I'm saying is, keep the stress level low. I can keep the volume level low, and like I guess being alone and being isolated while not being a whole lot of fun is keeping my stress level low. Whereas it would probably drive other people crazy. Uh, but I'm an odd cat. What can I tell you? Um, yeah, I don't know. Like this whole deal with the benzo thing is like I'm just gonna keep playing it by ear since that seems to work better. And I have these like what would you call it? These blank moments like I just had, and I have these weird moments from reducing my intake, and the jury is kind of out. I asked my psychiatric nurse about it, but the jury is kind of out about whether your body actually can repair the damage done by benzodiazepines, or you just adjust to the way your body works and you just get used to it. His opinion was you just get used to it. Um, Other people's opinions are that the receptors begin to function on your own. All I know is I used to have infinite patience and now I have zero patience. I mean, I put up with my family. Enough said. Now it's like I can't put up with it. I can't put up with the nonsense. I had crazy, that drama type shit that I talked about on here. That happened like where I'm like, well, yesterday there were some crackheads parked out in front of the building, and I was yelling at this dude, and it's like that stuff is not new stuff, but that stuff I'd be like, whatever in the past, and now it's like, you tell that motherfucker get his ass out here. I got his plate number. I'll call it. It's a whole big thing. And I wanted to go out and like confront the dude, but I realized that would be kind of silly. It's not. It's hard to be threatening if you actually have to walk all fucked up and like take one step at a time. To go up to a crack dealer that you have never met and yell at him in his pickup truck. It's like no, like no. I'm not doing that. I wasn't that far gone, but I was very angry. Um, but it's like that stuff is not new. Like nonsense that doesn't make any sense with my family is not new. It's just my ability to put up with it is not what it used to be. I would like to get back to where I'm patient and like I can um, do things that take patience and care. You know, like mm, oh, I don't know, like messing with those stupid football cards, or it takes a certain amount of delicate delicateness to do certain things, like play a guitar. Uh, yeah, it takes touch and patience, things like that. You can always hammer on a guitar and make ugly, angry sounds, which I can still do, but I would like to play pretty, delicate sounding things. Uh, I usually don't do that, but I would like to be able to do that. Uh, but yeah, oddly enough, like the main thing I regret out of all this is the loss of my teeth, because the loss of my teeth is like a daily fucking thing. It's an every second thing that I'm awake, because you feel your tongue. Everybody feels their tongue, you know. So I can feel my tongue hitting those blank spaces on this side of my face, and it's a constant thing. And I made like I'm not the best decision maker in the world, but like I said, that was a horrible decision. I was like, well, I can get these teeth capped, or I can just say pull them. So I said pull them, pull, because I just didn't want to spend the money. I needed the money to move out of here, and it would never occur to me to like borrow money. But I could have borrowed money. I could have like said, let's think about this for a minute, and I could have like borrowed money or off of my best friend who is wealthy, and but I didn't want to do. I don't like. I like to keep money separate with that dude. You know, I don't know. I just like to keep money separate. Um, because there's like that poisons friendships. So I have a good friendship with that dude. So I like to. That never even occurred to me. It never occurred to me to ask my family to borrow that kind of money. You know, even though at the time I did have somebody, it just never occurred to me. So I was just like, "What? You want to yank 4 teeth here? Why don't you take this other one out up here while you're at it? Because it hurts." And they're like, "Okay." Um. So yeah, I regret the fuck out of that decision. Not just because I'm still stuck in this building either. It was just a bad decision. Oddly enough, my 2 front teeth right here that got capped, they have never stopped being sensitive. But I would rather have a couple of sensitive teeth there than a blank spot. Like I'm missing the incisor and the tooth next to it, which I don't know what they call those front teeth in the bottom. But I know bicuspid is a word, but I only know it as a word. I think a bicuspid is one of the ones that are back here that are split. You know, you got the divot in the middle. That's why it's a bicuspid. And these are incisors, the fang teeth. I don't know what these front suckers is, but I'm missing a front tooth and an incisor at the bottom here. And I want back. But yeah, you don't get to make those. That's the thing about going to the dentist. Is like they want you to decide now. You know, it's like, do you want a root canal or do you want us to pull this tooth? And you're in pain, and you're like, okay, I'm not in the best frame of mind. I'm in a good frame of mind for ripping up the handles on this dental chair, but I'm not in a good frame of mind to make life altering decisions. And like, I lost a tooth like right next to my incisor over here because the guy was like talking to other people while he was talking to me. This is at a different dentist. This was at a media dent, another cheap shit. Even the name sounds like a cheap shit dentist. But I thought he meant this tooth here, so I was like, well, this tooth here, go ahead and yank this sucker, you know. But what he meant was this tooth. So, you know, I can't feel shit. My face is all numbed up and stuff. He's already got the Novocaine in there. And so we had a miscommunication. So he ends up pulling this tooth. I would have told him to root canal it because it's, you know, it's an important tooth as far as me chewing, and it's like a smiler tooth. But I was real upset because I was like, when my feeling came back, I was still in the dental chair, and a little bit of my feeling started to come back. I was like, wait a minute. And I felt with my hand, I was like, motherfuckers. And I was all pissed off. And I was like, I think you pulled the wrong tooth. Can you get the dentist in here? You know, so I think you pulled the wrong tooth. And he started laughing about it like it was something funny. And he showed me the tooth on a fucking tray when it was out of my head. And he's like, dude, this tooth was really rotten. It's not the wrong tooth. He's like, you know, I didn't explain like, well, I pointed to this tooth, and you weren't even like, I remembered it. It's like you were talking to some. I didn't say like you were talking to somebody else, and you weren't paying attention. And I told you, is this the tooth that I asked? Is this the tooth that we're gonna pull? And you said yes. But he would. Those places, man, they do a volume business and they don't pay attention to detail and shit. So he wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying. I didn't say none of that shit because it would have sounded like this with my mouth all shut up the way it was. It would have made no. It was hard enough to say, I think you pulled the wrong hoof, you know. And then like that's when um, there was a beautiful um, dental assistant of a darker hue than me, and she was talking to me, and they play a little video, and I started to get up to leave, and she was like, "Sir, you need to sit back down and watch this video about how to care for an extraction." And I was like, "I saw that video a million times. I don't need to see it again." And I like walked right past her, and I walked right toward her, and she stepped aside, and I walked past her, and I'm like, uh, "Yeah, I'm not ever coming back here again." But I did have to go back there again, and then that time I forget what they did, but I was like, "I'm never coming back here again." I don't remember what they did off the top of my head, but that day I was like, "I'm leaving. Get the fuck out of my way," without saying, "I'm leaving. Get the fuck out of my way." I just walked toward her and just walked out. But she was funny. She was like, "Sir, you need to sit back down and watch this video." I'm like, I saw that video like a million times. I don't need to watch it again. You know, obviously I had had teeth pulled before. It's always the same video about how you don't smoke, you take care of the blood clot and all this crap. But yeah, I've had a very regretful dental career. I'm not a good tooth owner. You know, not a good pet owner or tooth owner. Speaking of which, my cat is still doing good. I've been giving them little treats of sour cream and tuna fish here and there, and haven't tried to get him to come back in the house. The weather has been very temperate around here. We haven't had any snow except for that one time. Um, we've even had highs in the 50s a couple of days. And I think we're going to get some lows like 26, 27. Sometimes he looks up at me a little sad, but I don't know why that is. But, you know, if it gets cold, I'll, give another shot at the house. And I don't think 26 is even cold to him, though. He's living in a cardboard box right now like a homeless person. And not, sometimes he uses the igloo house I made for him out of a cooler. Sometimes not. I'm not sure why. It could be that it's too hot inside the igloo house some days, but he don't like rain. So a couple of times when it was raining, I saw him inside his igloo. So he's fine. He actually always seems to do better when he spends more time outside. So I mean, physically at least. As far as like how he is emotionally, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. My point of view of him is usually straight down from about 15 feet up. But I swear sometimes I see sadness in his eyes as he comes out of his cardboard box to eat in the mornings. So it could be like sadness at like waking up. Because maybe, who knows how it is for older cats and dogs, that they're like us and they're like, when they wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, I don't feel so good. So maybe it's that. I don't know. And of course, as owners, people, we're not really an owner of a cat, anyways. But as far as like people, we tend to project our feelings onto our pets and stuff. Like I'm sure there's people that say my hermit crab seems like he's very down and out these days. My brother is like that. My brother has a turtle. He's, you know how long turtles lives, but he has had this turtle forever, and he claims that this turtle like has emotions and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not so sure, but I'm not around said turtle, so I can't tell you if a turtle has feelings or not. Like, I'm talking about like some days she's pretty perky. She likes this one song. How do you know she likes this song? She's uh, she likes Bob Dylan because whenever I play Bob Dylan, she always comes out of her shell and sticks her head up and moves her head around and stuff like that. Whatever. If you say so, man. Your turtle's a hippie. Okay. There's a lot of stomping going on. I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, these it's an American box turtle that he found like 20 years ago or something like that. At least 20 years ago, but they live a long time. So I think it's because they have slow metabolisms. But he takes real good care of his animals anyway. So that's why I wanted him to take care of my cat. Um, he didn't do too good with the iguana, but iguanas are really touchy. Um, yeah, anybody out there wants to ever buy an iguana or have an iguana for a pet, be aware that you will have vet bills. You will have, that's a spoonerism. You will have vet bills, and you will have issues with an iguana, and they are also dangerous. I understand there's some of them are tame, but I see like people on TV that have them sitting on their shoulders and stuff. But all the iguanas I met, I don't want them anywhere near my face. You know, and I seen, like I said, I seen an iguana attack somebody, and yeah, it's pretty fucking scary because they can move like really fast. And the dude was bleeding to the point where like he had to go take care of it. It's like, ah, shit. He had to get paper towels put on his arm because he got scratched. You got scratched, and they whip you with their tails too. So they can bite, they can scratch, and they can whip you with their tails. They can do three evil things to you. So that's not good. A cat, he can bite and he can scratch, but I really don't care if he whips me with his tail. But having been bit for real by a cat, I mean for real, like to the hilt, where they clamped onto your hand, and there's a popping noise when they let go. Yeah, they can bite pretty good, and we all know about cat scratches and how they itch. So you don't want to, you really don't want. There's no winner in a cat fight between a cat and a human. I had this like I wouldn't call it a conversation. I would just call it. I left a comment about how strong cats are for their size. It's fucking insane. It's like a 10-pound cat is like incredibly strong if it's in good shape. Like I was wrestling my cat that I was talking about with the sad eyes out of the window because I wanted to shut the window because it was cold outside, and I was like trying to pull him and he was grabbing onto the ledge, and I'm like, why am I having trouble having a tug of war with an animal that I outweigh by 170 pounds? I weighed 178 at the time. It's just fucking ridiculous. I don't want to hurt him, but goddamn, he's like a block of wood muscle wise. They're amazing how strong they are. And if they want to bite you for real, yeah, it's all they sink them fangs all the way in. They can't break bones like dogs, but I guess some dogs can break bones. And my cop friend, sorry about making that noise, but my cop friend wanted to be a canine officer, So he was training with the dog for a while. And he was like, those dogs bite so hard that you can feel the pressure through those huge suits. You know, you teach him, he's like, and he said after he took the suit off, the dog was just giving him the evil eye and looking at him like he wanted some more. And he's like, I think I'm going to go now. And the training guy was like, why? And he said, yeah, I don't like the way Justice is looking at me. And I just want to go. I don't feel comfortable right now. I want to go. So his he never became a canine cop. He's like, well, it's a big responsibility, you know, because those big 100-pound German shepherds are dangerous, and you know, you got a pet, you got to take care of. You know, I'm not sure why he wanted to be a canine cop. Maybe he doesn't like some of his partners, and said I could probably get along better with a dog. I don't know. I don't know nothing about canine cops other than they have like a big van around here that says canine officer on the side. And I, my only other encounter with canine dogs, they were not pleasant. So the one was when my brother-in-law got arrested, and that dog was a black German Shepherd, and it was very tall, and it didn't have a lot. It wasn't thick, which you know, usually German Shepherd's kind of like a barrel-chested dog, but it was like tall and not as thick. But once the cop like made a motion, and you know, I had that choice whether to rat my brother-in-law out or protect him and maybe get in trouble myself later. I figured he was going to get arrested sooner or later. So they said, "Have you seen this cop and the dog?" They weren't talking. Just the cop was talking. The dog wasn't talking. But the cop said, "Have you seen your brother-in-law?" And I had a second to think about it and ran the scenario through my head. I'm like, he's going to get arrested for doing what he's doing. Sooner or later, I don't need to be arrested too. So I did not lie. I said he's in there sleeping on the couch. And as soon as I said that, the cop pushed me out of the way. The dog took that as a cue. And the dog pushed me out of the way too. So they didn't both talk, but they both pushed me out of the way because the dog hit me in the leg. And just like he owned the place, man, he just strolled in there. I was like, whoa, shit. And then my brother-in-law had the worst wake-up call of his life. He's there scratching his head, half awake, getting read his rights. And I'm sitting there watching. And they wanted me in the room because, for obvious reasons, they want to keep track of you. And dog's looking at me, and I'm looking at the dog. And I stop looking at the dog, and I look at the cop. And the dog's still looking at me. The dog was I guess the dog was trained to keep an eye on me because I was up and about, and the other guy was just sitting there kind of passively on the couch. So the dog was more concerned with me than with the actual suspect, and I wasn't about to make any sudden motions around that dog. But yeah, anyways, so now that we've established that dogs don't talk and that people shouldn't smoke crack, um, we will move on to what other topic I do not know, because topics for conversation are rather thin around here of late. Since yeah. The funny part was is I started lifting weights the day before I fell, and I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I probably did in that little 7-minute video that was cut off. But my arm is cool, so I can start lifting weights again. But I had just picked up the weights for the first time in a long time. On a Saturday and on Sunday I fell and hurt my arm. So I was like, I'll let that heal up first. Yeah, I can go back and try to lift weights again. It's very sad to me to lift weights when I can't do it right, but doing something is better than nothing. And I can still do curls. I can still work my triceps. I can still do a sitting military press. I can still do what I call kickbacks, which is you bend over, and I think they're called rows actually. Yeah, they're called rows for some reason. Is like I just put my hand like on the arm of the couch, and it's like an all fours type of position, and then you know kick your arm back. It's for working the back of your arm with the weight. I can still do dips that don't involve my legs, but I can't do any balance things with my legs anymore because they're too fucked up, which wipes out about half my workout, which and bums me out. I mean, I can't even like stand there and like do side bends, or I could maybe stand and do shoulder shrugs. I mean, it doesn't require a lot of movement, but other stuff's out too, which yeah, it just bums me out. But it's exercise, and I get precious little of that. So my jaw muscles though are like Arnold Schwarzenegger from talking all the time and chewing gum. I'm chewing gum like all the time. I think it's a nerves thing or a smoking thing. I don't know, but I want to smoke like a lot. And I was watching that Rectify show. There was a. I don't like watching beautiful women smoke, but there's a beautiful woman on there that smokes all the time. And the thing about that is, you see a beautiful woman smoking, and you want both of them. You want the cigarette? Yeah. Preferably, you want to be laying beside her and passing the cigarette back and forth, but you want both of them. So that's the worst, is seeing beautiful women smoke. That's a good show if you've never seen it. If you like a slow-paced drama, it's called Rectify. I'm not sure if it was canceled, and that's why it's only like I think a four-season show. I just finished it, and I'm like, well, there's a few unanswered questions here, but some shows they'll lead up to like this is the obvious conclusion without an actual conclusion, without actually Walter White like laying on the floor bleeding to death, without that kind of a conclusion. You know, people thought The Sopranos was open ended, and I'm like, no, it's not open ended at all. He got shot, and murdered in front of his family. Like they talked about it. I don't know why. I'm not going to accuse people of being stupid or whatever, but I don't know why people didn't like that ending or understand that ending. They talked about it. They talk about it in other movies. It's mentioned in Goodfellas, for instance. He's like, that's when I knew it was a cop, because if it was one of our guys, I wouldn't have heard a thing. Just everything would have went black. And they talked about like what it would be like, and it's like, well, everything would just be turned black because that's what a mafia hit is. Sneak up on a guy and shoot him in the head. So, that's why the screen just goes black. So that's not an open ending either, but this show is kind of, this Wreck the Last show, it's like, well, who killed the guy? Who killed who? I mean, what happened? Kind of like you can draw a couple of conclusions from it. So maybe it got canceled, I don't know. It's really super slow paced. I mean, I like it. It's a drama type of show. I guess it was on from 2013 to 2016. So, I'm not a big TV watcher. I am now, but I didn't used to be. So, a lot of this stuff is new to me. 2013, I was like going outside and going fishing and doing shit. So, playing guitar. I mean, not a big TV guy. I think the only reason why I got TV here at all, when I got satellite TV, was um, it was part of like, when I got set up with the internet here, it was like part of a bundled deal. And I was like, okay. I kind of got screwed on that because I was bundled for 2 years at locked in at that price on everything else, but not direct TV. So direct TV went from, that don't cost very much, like $118. And I was like, oh fuck. I gotta pay like this because I'm under contract. And it's like a fine print trick they play on you. So once that was over, I'm like, fuck TV. You can get everything over the computer anyway. There's really only reason to have TV is so you can watch live sports, and you can even do that over the computer if you want to pay for it. But I don't, Yeah, I just pay like there's this show called Letterkenny. It's the name of a town. Letterkenny that my nephew turned me on to. That's a Canadian made TV, and it's kind of like, it's okay. It's kind of like hard to follow. It's interesting to watch shows from other countries to see what they think is funny. I think it's a parody that the Canadians are making about themselves. I don't know, but I don't understand a lot of it. Uh, but I don't mind. But anyways, I'm trying to get that off of my smart TV, and I can't get that show, but I can get it for free off of like different sites that they have that stream stuff. Where sometimes you get a movie and it says it's a bootleg, or sometimes you get HD. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you'll watch something, you're like, well, this isn't a very good copy of this movie, so I will wait until a better copy of it comes out because it's important. Sometimes it's not important, the quality that you get. There's this ridiculous Russian. Um, I don't know. It's all I know is it's whoever produces it is Russian, but they like have a pinata that falls down in the middle of the movie and explodes, and like cash comes out of it, and they're like free gambling on site at so and so, and it's a commercial like right in the middle of the movie. It's like I'll even watch those, depending upon what kind of movie it is. I don't care. Um, yeah, that's funny though. Like you're watching a movie and there's a serious part, and there's like a little pinata horse or something falls down and sits in the middle of the screen and then explodes, and then there's just a commercial thrown in the middle of the movie because somebody like bootlegged it, and then like I guess you can get away with that, and you know trying to make some money off of their bootleg, them Russian gangsters. So, but yeah, um, kind of a big football game coming up on Monday as far as me money wise. Because if Baker Mayfield has another good game, uh, I have like 10 graded 9 mint um, Baker Mayfield cards that I will immediately try to sell regardless of what they go for or anything. I'm not waiting because that will mean that the Browns beat the Ravens in front of a national audience, and it is time to sell those motherfuckers. So, uh, yeah, I'm not going to wait for him. He seems to have turned the corner as far as his play, but I ain't waiting. So that's a big football game for me. I'm going to be watching, eyes glued to the screen uh, with that game, and turn the computer off so I don't get any spoilers because I have to. I buy something called Game Pass from the NFL, and I have to wait till the games are over to watch them. So I can't be looking on the computer because, or the phone or anything, because they are determined to spoiler you. As I've explained, that is how I got injured, and I thought I tore a muscle in my arm. Is I'm trying to put a piece of long cardboard in front of my TV to block out the ticker tape of spoilers that are going underneath one game because I buy all the games, and like I watch 4 of them like all the way through, guaranteed at least 4 of them. I don't want to know what the score is at the time, of course. And then they have the condensed version, and I'll watch those too, where they just they're 45 minutes long and they just skip everything, and it's just play after play after play after play, which you have to have rapt attention to those to follow those games. But yeah, so that's a big game for me. Nick Chubb is back and kicking ass. That's also more cards I can sell if I want to do that. So I'm thinking I should do my experiment like soon. See, that's Monday. It's too late. Shit, it's too late. Well, it won't matter. Shit, it puts me in a quandary. I should have already experimented with printing out postage labels and buying them over the computer instead of sending people to the post office. But if they kill the Ravens, it won't matter. Those cards got to be put out. They got to be sold like immediately before the next game, because the next game you could play like shit. So yeah, let's see, that's a Monday game. I'd have to make it like a 5 day auction too. I should probably take the pictures ahead of time now, just in case they win. But that might jinx it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not really superstitious. But yeah, it's probably like they're right over there in a box, and they're like they're in a case, and they say PSA 9 on them, mint, and it's a card that, um, without being graded PSA 9, was selling for like $50 before the if you had a good one before the season started. I already sold one of them because I needed money before the season started for $97. That was before anything even happened. Uh, it might have been over $100, and 97 was what I got for it after all the bites they take out of it. I don't remember. But yeah, that's something for me to look forward to. I always look forward to Sundays. But you can't say Sundays anymore because of COVID. They're playing games on Sundays. They're playing games on Mondays. They're playing games on Tuesdays. They even played a Wednesday afternoon game, and they play games on Thursday. So basically, you may have a game every day, but Friday and Saturday so far this season. So NFL used to be all the games were on Sunday, and then Monday Night Football was special. Then they had Thursday Night Football, and then they started this tradition where they, at some point in the year, they would play games on Saturday. I think they have Wild Card Saturday or something like that. Anyway, now that is interesting. So I'll try to stop being boring at this point. But it is a big deal for me personally because it's kind of the point of me buying those things is to sell them, and I can get out from underneath them and at least get my money back because I paid $1,000 for like 10 of those things, and it was less than $1,000. It was between 900 and $1,000. It was a lot because I had high expectations. Um, because a Lamar Jackson of that particular card, graded 9, would go for like $500 fucking. And I'm like, well, that, and also um, a Saquon Barkley of that same car would go for like $50, ungraded. So it's the card. It's just a short print, valuable type of card. I got like between 25 and 30 of those of Nick Chubb, and I'm just waiting for him to blow up. What it is the Browns are the Browns, which Browns rhymes with clowns, and that is the national perspective on them. But if they get in the playoffs, which, not if, they will get in the playoffs, and if they win a playoff game, then those Chubb cards will become extremely valuable, and I have a huge Nick Chubb collection. So money is not really an issue. Hence, I am not going to bother this person that owes me money about money and stress myself out because it's not an issue. The rent's paid. I got 4 figures in the bank right now. I got all these cards I can sell, and you know, I wish I had something more interesting to talk about than my personal finances, but I don't. I'm just trying to help you kill some time, and I haven't been too chatty lately. That is true. Uh, I just been kind of. It's not good how I've been. I'm just kind of like yeah, not motivated is putting it mildly. It's like I have a doctor that I could go to where I could get non-bifocal focal glasses. I could get contacts, and not because these glasses hurt my nose occasionally. And I need an update on my prescription anyway. Um, and I could get that done pretty easily by going to these life care people, I think they're called. They're like an all-in-one. They're like a Walmart doctor. Now Walmart like killed all these businesses by just combining everything. It's a one-stop shop. Well, this is like a one. It's really a doctor's Walmart. It's like a one-stop shop. They have a dentistry. They have primary care providers. They have optometrists. It's all like a. I wonder why. I wonder if it was actually business modeled after Walmart. Now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, I can get that done, and I'm just not motivated to do it. I don't want to go to the doctors. I having this weird fight with my stomach and my bowels where they're not happy all the time. And yeah, walking is problematic as far as like pain level. Oh, yesterday I did some stuff and walked around, and I'm like, that's it. Fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore because it really started to hurt. And all I was doing was some basic cleanup around here, and feeding the cats, and then uh, what else? I don't know what else. It wasn't much. It's just that's what it is. It's like it's not much before my leg starts yelling at me. But stuff still needs done around here. The Fran person, the one that stole money off of me, she refused to go to Walmart. She's like, I'm not going to Walmart. I don't go to Walmart. I don't even go to Walmart for my regular clients. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. But I'm like, okay, it's your gig. And I'm like, do you go to Dollar General? And she's like, yes. I'm like, do you go to Save a Lot? Local thrift store around here. I don't know if it's national. And she's like, yes, it's a thrifty grocery store. Um, and I'm like, well, then I will send you to those two. And, I don't know. She had some shoulder surgery, and she's like, when I asked the big girl about her, they're like, a lot of clients complain because she doesn't do a whole lot for them because of her. She won't do a lot of work and stuff. So scrubbing and cleaning was definitely, she'd just be like, no. Apparently, they have the right to do that, even if it's in their job purview, because I had somebody refuse to take out my garbage. I'm like, the garbage bags aren't heavy, and they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. So I stumbled out there with a cane and did it myself. Before I realized how easy it was, like, I can actually just open the one window, and if I'm careful, it's got to be an underhand pitch. I can actually throw the garbage bag on top of the garbage can, and it'll sit on top of the garbage can, and then whoever has to throw away garbage will have to throw away my garbage because it's on top of the lid. So I'll do that sometimes. And it's also safe from everything but raccoons up there too. So, but sometimes you miss and it falls in it falls in the yard, and sometimes it falls short and it falls on the porch because it's an awkward underhand pitch because you're doing it out a window. So, but yeah, they can refuse to do stuff like if I would have asked her to clean anything in here like scrubbing, she would have been like, no. I had shoulder surgery, and she kind of like she said that her boss would back her, so she was kind of like preemptively saying, don't try to make me do anything or don't make a fuss about this because my boss already gave me the go ahead that I don't have to do this shit. So apparently going to Walmart is too dangerous. She's afraid of the COVIDs. So I don't know. What do you make of that? I don't, I don't know. COVID's a big thing here now in Ohio. I don't know how it is nationally. I haven't been following it. I don't care anymore. Tired of it. Like I said, that giant obese woman got sick and she's fine and didn't go to the hospital. So um, I'm not really afraid of it. Uh, I think I already had it, so I asked the one person who was talking about it, Fran, can you get it more than once? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, I don't know if I should believe you in my head. But I'm like, please elaborate on that. And she was like, well, I know this one person that blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I suppose I should look it up. Maybe they don't know. They are coming out with a vaccine put out by Pfizer. The people that are responsible for the little blue pill, they give people boners. And obviously, since they have been looking for an effective aphrodisiac since the dawn of man when he woke up and didn't have any morning wood and was very sad. They've been looking for it so long, they made billions off of that. So they're going to make billions more off of this COVID vaccine if Pfizer becomes the go-to pharmaceutical company for the vaccine. But this is just, I don't really keep up on these things. You know, um, I was I just read like a piece of the article. So I read a piece of the article that said, like I said, I don't like to read much anymore. So um, I read a piece of the article and it said that they're thinking about rushing it through the FDA process. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't know. I'm like, I am probably more afraid of any long term effects of a vaccine that hasn't been properly tested than COVID itself. Now, I didn't mention that the big girl said that her doctor claimed that her lungs might be permanently damaged from her case of COVID, but she might be being dramatic. I don't know. You just talk to people, you hear them, you can take them at their word or not. You know, this is what these people tell me. So, but I'm like the rest of America. I am played out on the whole COVID thing. It's been a year, tired of it, don't care anymore. You know, it's like I am not isolated now because of COVID. I am isolated because I can't walk and I don't have a lot of friends. And yeah, basically I can't walk, so I'm not walking outside. I shut in, so my leg gets weird. I mean, it's like it's sort of like the pain blocks out where it is, so it makes balance an issue. And I already got that problem in my right leg, so my leg gets weird. Like I step short with it, or I can't really feel like what's going on. There's just a whole bunch of pain there, so that this creates a problem, and it makes my balance not good. So I don't think walking outside is a good idea. That's why I'm scratching certain exercises off of my weightlifting program, and I will start that again because I got to get some kind of exercise, and there's no reason for me to be flabby. So uh, I'm still fairly strong. Like, like I can lift things without any problem. I just can't carry them. But I did lift, I don't know, 20, 30 pounds, something like that. Cane with a cane, walked it in the house yesterday off of the porch. So it's not like I'm super weak or anything. It's just the walking thing, not good. I mean, it's not 20, 30 pounds is not a lot, but I mean, it didn't take any effort for me to lift that with one hand. So it's still like I'm fairly strong. body wise. But um, you know, I think part of my reticence of going into these life care people is I just don't want to be fucked with by doctors anymore, and I don't like the emotional disappointment um, of being like, yeah, that knee, we can't do nothing about it. It's like I don't want to hear that no more. But really, there's no reason for me not to get on that other than depression and malaise, despondency, and basic inertia because they could at least shoot it up with cortisone or give me oral steroids, and then like I can get. I'm gonna suppose I break these glasses, then I'm really fucked because I'm blind as a bat. Like I need eyewear, and then like it's too late for the dentistry that they offer. I mean, once that's the thing about teeth, man. Once I had this stupid idea because so many people wear dentures that dentures were not a big deal, and I was headed there anyway. So I'm like, fuck teeth. They're just gonna go bad eventually. And just like I'm gonna be wearing dentures eventually. I fucking hate dentures. I fucking hate my partial plates. I can't even bring myself to fuck with them and wear them and not eat with them. And just, I don't like scraping out the polygrip. I don't like the extra stuff in my mouth. I could do an experiment where I talk on here and see if I talk better with them or without them, but uh, my friend was asking me to repeat myself on the phone, so I think I talk even worse with the dentures in because, like I said, there's a thing across the roof of your mouth, and then there's a thing across the front of your mouth. There's extra stuff in your mouth, so maybe not only do you have to get used to wearing them, but you have to get used to talking with them too. So I actually think I talk better being a toothless old blues singer. You got to walk that lonesome valley. I think, I don't know. I tried it for a while, but I really it's hard to get that polygrip shit off your gums. I don't know if you're supposed to eat it. I would just leave it in there and eat it. I think you're supposed to try to get it out of your face though and not eat it. And I don't like it. But I had it in my head that you don't hear people complaining about their dentures all the time. Maybe I wasn't around enough people with dentures. I probably told you before that my crazy brother-in-law found a dentist and said, just get rid of all my teeth. I'm tired of all of them. He just did a preemptive strike on his teeth. And he was like, what? He's like, would you be willing to pull all of my teeth if I asked you to? And he was like, well, if that's what you want, yeah, but you're going to have to sign a release form. And he just had all his teeth pulled because he claimed that his teeth were so sensitive that he would have to keep his mouth clamped, like even in 40-degree weather. He's like, and he wasn't into like the drug rotting teeth, but he was very poor, and he was a couch guest, we'll call it, at various people's houses, and was homeless for a while, and of course did not take care of his teeth very well. But he claimed that even his healthy teeth were like super sensitive to air, and they were just sensitive and hurting him all the time. And he was like, "Fuck your teeth," and just got them all pulled. And he just wears his uppers for show. He doesn't wear the lowers. For me, I didn't realize that, but my lower teeth show more than most people's do. So, um, but yeah, that's bad decisions and a long line of bad decisions. Was some of them I couldn't help, some of them I could help, but how was I to know how that was going to go down? I mean, I thought it would not be a big deal, and I thought like, well, I didn't know like, yeah, I didn't have anybody advise me, and I didn't know like that would be a big deal missing those two teeth and having my tongue hit them every second of every waking moment. So, yeah, this is very boring, I realize at this point. But I used up all my stories, and I do not like to be redundant. All my fascinating stories about my maniacal murderous relations, and nothing interesting really is happening right now. And I suppose, like I said, I should try to make things interesting, but I'll wait till after the holidays. And you know how people are, you know how the holiday season is. So I'll wait till January and then I'll go to the doctor and I'll have lots of money. Though the exam will be free and they cover glasses or contacts, but not both, so it's not a major expense for me to get eyewear. I could even get a couple pairs of glasses. And, because sleeping in contacts, you can do it. I don't like it. You wake up and they're stuck to your eye and uncomfortable feeling. Um, but contacts, that's why you want glasses. If you don't want to sleep in them, you take them out. You don't know when you're going to sleep, and you put on your glasses. Wake up in the morning. Maybe it's not the best thing, especially if you got the benzo shakes to try to poke something in your eye. So I don't know. Just trying, trying to be, trying to make lemons from persimmons. I was going to try to make lemonade from lemons, but I said it wrong. I don't know what a persimmon is, but I know from The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn that apparently their taste pretty vile because they were going around talking about what they were allowed to borrow, i.e., steal off of people, and what would be moral to steal off of people, and what would be immoral to steal off of people. And they were like, well, nobody likes persimmons, so we can steal all the persimmons we want. So I don't even know what a persimmon is, what a persimmon looks like, but I figure they gotta be worse than lemons because I like lemons. Being a weird fellow, I would take a lemon and cut it in half and just eat a lemon like I was eating a grapefruit or something like that. And it would freak people out. But like I'd chew up cranberry extract capsules, so I have a high tolerance for bitterness, which has come in very handy in my life. Oh, okay. Well, I think I gave you at least an hour of mind numbingly boring, time wasting material that may or may not have helped you go to sleep. And if you are sleeping right now, I wish you the sweetest of dreams. If I am only a voice playing through your subconscious at this moment, I'm starting to drift into a radio voice instead of talking like a normal person missing most of their teeth. But, anyways, I thought, it's not fair to people that are used to me being on here for an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, to just pop on here for 7 minutes. And, the video before that, also somebody knocked on my door. And that was only like a 40-minute video. So, this, however, has to be an hour and a half. So, you got to get an hour and a half. That's if the microphone worked. I didn't test it out. And, if it has a little hum or a little buzz in there, man, fuck it. I'll just leave it up there anyway. And if it's annoying, it's annoying. I don't know what to do about that. Like I said, I'm not sure. Um, Even if it's in my own head, or even if it's only annoying to me, or even if I'm like a bat or an adolescent and hearing things that other people don't hear. Because they say that, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but they say that young people can things, hear a higher range of sounds than older people. So they ought to make dog whistles for younger people when you're an old guy at the bar? Okay. Sometimes I do wonder about the things that I say, but I like to think that nobody has ever thought of that before. But that is what I've heard. Is I've heard that the young people of a certain age, um, hopefully of legal age, since I made that reference, can hear sounds that older people can't hear, and they hear a wider range, from high to low. So that's why I should. They have old guy at the bar whistles, and the other old guys at the bar can't hear, but the young girls perk up. They're like, "What's that?" And you're like, "Hi, I have money." Hi, and you wave like this so they can. No, you can wear a wrist watch like that so they can see the thick "I have money" watch on your hand. Yeah. Oh, good Lord. At least I amused myself. Oh, wow. I put a coffee ring on my chest. I'd show it to you, but I can't now because I got maybe I can. I got dermographia, which means skin writing, which means that stuff like this happens. See that? That's just from setting a coffee cup on my chest. It left a red ring. It's like if I do this and I sit there and I talk for a few seconds. Usually, when somebody gets smacked, they don't get this kind of thing of effect. That wasn't a hard smack, you know. Let's see. Okay, now it's starting to appear. Let's get a little light on. Maybe this will help. Maybe it'll hurt. Who knows? But I don't know if you can see the fingers. I actually get fingerprints, and it's like you can't really see it. It's like a handprint from just that light smack because I got dermographia or dermographic skin, which graph right, derma skin. That's an easy one. So yeah, now that I have woken everybody up who was sleeping by smacking my chest really loudly, I was very rude to all the people that used this to go to sleep. Like, what the fuck was that? Wake up and they look over and they see like, oh, there's that guy with the freaky looking chest, um, with a fucking handprint and a ring on his chest. That's fucking weird. What did I say I was gonna call this video? Oh, Sheri is very mature that her feet stink. That's what I'm gonna call the video. So, anyways, I had fun. I hope you did. Um, Goodbye. I'll see you in a while. And hopefully the Browns will absolutely destroy the Ravens on Monday. And that would be great. Because I will make money, money, money.